Well, hello and thank you for joining me for another ITY video with top Australian executives. Today I have with me Simon Kantor, the CEO of the IoT Group. Welcome to the program.
Thanks very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Now, Simon, you're 26 years old and heralded as a technology genius. So for those who are unaware, can you just tell us a little bit about not only yourself and your history in the world of tech, but starting off with the IoT Group and what it does, including things that people may not already know, like a range of smartwatches and other devices, before we get to the Roam-E.
Yeah, well, the IoT Group has been around for about a year now, incorporated May the 4th last year.
And you're now successfully launched on the stock exchange?
Indeed, we managed to launch on the stock exchange in March this year officially. It was a long and interesting process to get there, and obviously much hype about it. And since then, we've gone out and we've started to produce the Roam-E. We're halfway through the production process, ramping up to actually deliver to stores, hopefully by September.
And today was the grand launch at midday Australian time, globally launched across the world.
Yeah, globally launched the video across the world, so you can see the Roam-E in action online.
And it's available on pre-order, which we'll go into in a sec. But
absolutely. So the Roam-E launched today, the video launched today, and Roam-E is available online from our website at myroamie.com.
And so just whilst we're on that, so deliveries, when should people expect if they order one today to get one in their hands?
So if you order a Roam-E today, you can expect delivery in September.
Yeah.
And that's because we're gearing up for production, and we've got a lot of interest and a lot of pre-orders coming through the retail channels as well.
I can imagine. So what's a little bit about your history in tech? When was your first computer? What was your earliest tech memory? You know, how instrumental were your parents in getting you onto this path?
So my earliest tech memories, come about from the early 90s when I inherited my uncle's computer. It was a Pentium. It was one of the first Pentiums, a P90, 100 megahertz CPU speed.
That was fast back then.
That was very fast.
The original Pentium was 60 and 66 megahertz. So that was
right.
100 megahertz.
Yeah, it operated at 100 more proficiently than the P100 actually.
Right.
Had 8 megabytes, megabytes of RAM, and almost 100 megabyte hard drive. So that was the first thing I worked on. I inherited it from my uncle, as I said, and it didn't work. So
you fixed
took it apart
and
put it back together, and it was working.
Sweet.
I guess the other early memory after that is learning HTML, so learning how to code. My mother at the time, I was about 7 years old, took a course at TAFE to learn how to code in HTML. And the computer was in my room, and I was lying in bed and telling her where she should change the tags and how she should update it to make it actually work.
Yeah.
And that was my foray into tech. And
so if we fast forward onto the Roam-E, well, actually, before we get to the Roam-E, what about some of the other products that IoT Group does? Like you've got a range of what else does IoT Group have besides the Roam-E?
So the IoT Group has developed a range of smartwatches, including tethered and untethered devices, meaning you can put a SIM card in some of them
and make phone calls.
And make phone calls as a standalone phone, so you don't have to have a mobile phone. It's really a replacement.
Sure.
It runs full Android, and the other ones tether to your phone and act as an add-on, but they're all affordable and they're all open, whether you're using iOS or Android. They work together.
And where are people able to buy those at the moment? In retail or online?
So at the moment they're all available online, and over the coming months, along with the Roam-E, they'll be available at all the major consumer electronic retailers throughout Australia and in the US and Japan.
So are these Android Wear or your own version of Android?
No, so none of them run Android Wear. They all run our own version of an OS. So it's all cleaned up, very polished applications that work together with your phones. And the SIM card enabled ones run full Android, so you can download apps directly from the Play Store, including Facebook and all of your social media apps.
And so what are the ones without the SIM card start at, and what are the ones with the SIM card start, roughly, if you can remember?
So they roughly start at about $149 and range to about $299.
And that's Australian?
That's Australian,
Wow.
keeping it in the affordable price bracket.
Absolutely,
so that's our entire business model, to be affordable technology, tomorrow's technology today.
Sure. Now behind us we can see a still from your newly launched video. This is where it says, "Let's take Roam-E," and there's a Roam-E that's there. It's hasn't yet unfolded its rotors or its wings, as it were, and so what was the idea behind the Roam-E, and so what made you think I've got to make one of these?
Well, the Roam-E was conceived in quite an interesting way. I was sitting on the couch with my close friend and our head of production, Val Lipkin, and he asked me, we were talking about popular fads and popular retail products, talking about the selfie stick.
Yeah.
And he said, asked me, how can we make the selfie stick better? And after a few minutes, I thought, well, we could make it fly. And
it's an offhand comment, right?
Yeah, it's an offhand comment. But a few hours later, we had a concept, or I had drawn up a concept for the Roam-E. initially being a flying selfie stick. So it was supposed to be a companion that would stop you from hitting people when you're trying to take a photo, and also let you get a good picture.
Yep.
And from that there came discussions, and from that there was an exercise in engineering, and then we realized that it's actually something that's feasible and doable.
So how long has it been since the idea to today's launch of the video and pre-ordering state?
So the idea came about in March 2015,
Yep.
and now we're in June
So
2016.
little
So
over a year.
yeah, about 13 months.
Pretty great progress.
Yeah, it's amazing actually if we look at how much time has gone into developing the technology behind it. I mean, initially we started off with a flying selfie stick, something that's pretty mundane if you would think about it.
Yeah.
But to do that, we've had to develop facial recognition technology that works on a very, very cost-effective computer. Essentially, we started off with different development boards and things that cost around $30 retail.
Yeah.
And we managed to get a facial recognition, a vision system working on a $30 computer, something that hasn't been done before. Not only are we doing facial detection and recognition and object detection, we're doing all of this with optical flow, all on this $30 computer. So the innovation...
And it's all written from scratch?
It's all written from scratch. Look, the caveat there is we use a lot of open source binaries that are out there.
Yeah.
So we're not rewriting algorithms that already exist, but we're writing new algorithms that put it together in a way that's never been done before.
And that's obviously taken up some development time to perfect that.
Absolutely. I mean, we're perfecting it every day, and I see that over the next year or so, we'll be continuously improving it, adding more functionality and
with
features
firmware
to it.
updates. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to recognize more and more objects. At the moment, we do facial recognition, but in 6 months' time, you'll be able to recognize what breed of dog you've got.
Sure, incredible, yeah. And the battery life, I understand, is 20 minutes. So what does that mean, and how much do extra batteries cost? How easy is it to swap batteries, and is there a separate battery charger so I can have a whole bank ready to go and do like a full hour or more of filming?
So the operational battery life is 20 minutes, meaning you'll probably get between 15 and 20 minutes of flight time per battery.
Yep.
Batteries are going to be very affordable. We haven't got an exact retail price now, but we're aiming between $20 and $40.
Sure, which is great. Yeah.
We're definitely shipping it with external chargers, so you'll be able to charge up as many batteries as you want and have them all ready on the go. There'll be carry cases where you can store your batteries together with your Romy, fits in your backpack, and away you go.
And so does the Romy record audio as well as video, or just video at this stage?
It has the capability, the Romy has the capability to record audio at the moment. We're not actually passing that through because of the sound that's generated by the spinning rotors.
But could I, for example, if I had my smartphone and I'm recording myself for like a video blog, or we're recording this interview and we've got the Romy in the distance there sort of filming us from a distance, could you have it so it's using the microphone of my smart device to add to the video that it's recording?
Absolutely. So we'll be looking to bring out future versions of the Romy or accessories to the Romy. So we may in fact bring out a microphone accessory for the Romy that'll let you have high definition audio as well as your high definition video.
Yeah. Although I suppose, you could also switch on the microphone in your phone as well if you wanted to.
Absolutely. You can turn on the microphone on the phone, no problems.
Yeah. And so there must be an app for iOS and Android that will interface with the Romy and let you watch the videos and control things. And what does the app allow you to do?
So at the moment we're developing the app for iOS and Android. They haven't been submitted to the store yet, but will be in the coming weeks. The app's going to allow you to run the full selfie mode, which gives you access to all sorts of settings, an internal gallery, the ability to stream the video directly from your Romy to your app. Then you'll be able to control the position of the Romy, the speed, the height, how you get the video, what kind of shots you want to take. So the app will have all control over the Romy's functionality. Meaning if you want to take a panorama, you just hit a button, it's a slide away. It's a very user-friendly interface, so we've designed it taking Apple's lead and Samsung's lead on application building, and obviously put in our individual smarts into it. So you want to do a 360 shot, it's a swipe and a tap. If you want to do burst shot, you just push and hold, and it's taking photos for as long as you're holding it.
Sure. It's the ultimate camera accessory.
Absolutely. So the application makes it user-friendly, makes it functional, and the Romy is the ultimate camera accessory. On accessories, we'll be bringing out a variety of camera accessories with 4K, 360, Full HD is obviously already shipped with the product itself.
Yeah.
But beyond that, 3D cameras, basically everything you could want from a personal filming point of view, we're going to try to provide through the Romy.
Sure. I mean, I remember watching Stargate Atlantis, and they had this round spherical ball that was basically a Romy without the rotors, and we don't know what the propulsion system was, but it's wonderful with science fiction.
Stargate Universe also.
Yeah,
it's a shame they cancelled that one, but absolutely.
Yeah, well, sorry, that was the one, Stargate Universe. That was the one, not Stargate Atlantis. They had the roaming fly, and in fact, the main character looked a bit like you. It was similar. He was this amazing gamer who won this game, and then guys knocked on his door and they said, "Hey, you just won the prize to be part of Stargate Universe."
Every nerd's dream, I guess, and I think of myself as a big nerd, and I like to bring those dreams to life. So that's what we're trying to do here. I mean, we've done that with the watches. We're going to do that with the Romy, and then there's a lot more to come.
As they say, the geek shall inherit the earth.
I like that one.
So. Now, looking at the video and a still photo, the blades look a bit long. So people are obviously going to wonder about the safety protocols, and I don't mean to sound bad, but there was a story of a child whose part of his eye got gouged up because the parents were playing with this thing and it fell. So what are the safety protocols built in? How does it land safely if it runs low on battery? Does the facial detection work to stay away from people? What's the story there?
So there's a lot of work that's been done that we've done in regards to safety and the Romy and a flying device in general. So one of the big pieces of work that we've actually filed patents for are our collapsible blades. So the standard blades that you find on most flying devices, they kind of either don't fold at all if it's a quadcopter, or they'll move on one axis.
Sure.
Our blades turn on both axes, so if they hit something or if they're going to come in contact with something, they collapse and fold away. The blades themselves are made from a material that'll break off, so if it's a really hard impact, it's not going to act as a blade, it's going to act as a safety glass, for example. Then beyond that, also the software then comes into play, and if it detects that it's hitting something or it has a collision, first of all, it's designed to avoid that collision in the first place. Secondly, if it does detect a collision, it shuts down the motors. So it stops the driving force behind the blades to create a safer environment. Beyond that, like landing and all sorts of other safety functionality, like we've got a kill switch in there, so if it's in an environment where you need to shut it down, it's a simple press away. And then if the battery is running low, it will tell you, it'll flash, the LEDs will flash, and then it'll slowly land itself. So as the battery runs out, it'll sit on one spot and slowly reduce the motor speed to come to a safe landing and then shut off.
Sure, and because people are going to wonder, I mean, if you do the kill switch and it's a meter or two in the air, I mean, how robust is it if it lands on concrete or the grass in the park or whatever it might be?
So it's been designed to be quite robust. I mean, the kill switch is if all else fails, emergency countermeasure, which we've designed as a safety point of view.
Great to have
if this is the worst possible scenario, you hit that kill switch, it's going to drop to the ground, but we've designed it so that the camera module will separate and is designed to be salvageable and to not really affect anything.
It's a bit like those old Nokia phones when they fell, they broke in three pieces so you could put it back together.
Exactly.
I mean, these days you put the phone, you drop your smartphone, it breaks.
It shatters into a million pieces and that's it, it's unusable. With the Romy, even if it does fall out of the sky, which it won't, but even if it does, you'll be able to put it back together. The amount of impact that it does on the environment and on itself will be mitigated and as small as possible. I mean, part of the testing process that we're going through now is dropping this thing and seeing what the effects are and how to make it safer and more reliable.
Well, it's great to see that you've thought of all of that, and that's the sort of thing you'd have to think of in the modern day and age, because we've all seen what happens when people drop their devices, and like I said, it's the old Nokia phones. You drop, they fall into three parts, put them back together, everything is fine. So this is a bit of a joke question. I mean, how are pre-orders going? Is it safe to say that they're flying in? Boom tish.
Flying off the shelves. Well, they're not yet on the shelves. So the expectation is that there's going to be a lot flying off the shelves in September. The demand is very, very high naturally, and that's why our exercise now in ramping up production is so important.
Now, I'm sure people wondering, if they can make their own products in Chinese factories. What was it like working with your Chinese factory partner to bring Romy to life?
The landscape of manufacturing and producing in China has changed substantially over the past decade.
For the better, I'm sure.
For the better, indeed, for the better. And I've been working with Chinese manufacturers for a long time, as our chief production officer. And our partner AEE, it's a global partnership, but they are the second largest drone manufacturer in China. They're the only manufacturer that produce commercial drones for use by the Chinese government. So they have the experience and the skills that we were looking for.
Sure.
Obviously, working with any Chinese company or Chinese manufacturer, there's a cultural difference, and the language barrier is the biggest issue.
Sure.
And so we overcome that with a lot of diagrams, and we actually use a lot of cool new software for collaboration that's only been developed in the past year.
Yep.
And by using that state-of-the-art technology in our collaboration, as well as developing state-of-the-art technology, we're able to effectively work in a partnership, in a kind of partnership that I haven't seen myself before.
And so moving on from that, I would ask, what advice would you give to young people who are watching this video and wanting to emulate your success, and let alone older people like me who want to do the same thing one day?
Honestly, it's to have a good idea, and if you think you have a good idea, to pursue it, to be diligent, and to not be distracted and not be deterred by naysayers. I mean, that's the piece of advice I was given, and has led to this all coming to fruition. This never give up, and to always persevere and don't listen to anybody else.
Sure. Now, I mean, because I always do like to ask what's the best piece of advice, but I guess you just answered it there as part of the other question. But also I'd like to ask about the future. Now, the IoT group looks like it's all about bringing the future into the present and turning science fiction into science fact. So given that you're already so future focused, I mean, what then is your vision of the future in 10 or 20 years' time, and where do you think you'll personally be by then?
Look, my vision of the future 10, 20 years' time is incredibly different whether you take 10 or 20.
Sure.
I think the technology will proliferate, again, exponentially over the next 10 years. I think in 5 to 10 years, we'll see drones and other automated robotic devices becoming part of the everyday home, part of the everyday transactional lifestyle. I think that IoT Group, I'd like to see us moving forward with automation and robotics and advancing automated processes. Myself, I'd love to be with the IoT Group in 10 or 20 years' time, developing the next latest technology, whether it's biomechanical or bioelectrical. I think that's probably the future 10, 20 years from now.
Sure. And so, do you have any final messages for IoT Wire viewers and readers, and for all those upcoming Roam customers and people buying all your smartwatches?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very thankful that they're listening to me, and I'd like to say that they can check out the Roaming on our website. Mm-hmm. But other than that, we're looking for talent every day. If people are interested in trying to get involved in the development of Roaming or future products, give us a shout out. Otherwise, if they have a great idea that they think that they might want to see come to life, send us an email. We'd love to hear about it, and we'd love to help you make it happen. Great.
Well, Simon, thank you very much for your time. I wish you the greatest of success with Roam, and I hope to talk to you again in the future.
Thanks very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.